For someone like myself who lives in a very bikeable location, an electric scooter such as this TurboAnt X7 Max does a wonderful job of getting me from point A to point B. Perfect for first mile and last mile trips. I use it to go to the gym, I use it to go to the grocery store. Anywhere I need to get to, I take my backpack and it's perfect for that. And of course, today I'm dressed for the gym and you guys are going to follow me along. This TurboAnt electric scooter has a 10 amp detachable battery and you can charge it while you keep this in the garage, which makes it really convenient. But you don't have to necessarily remove it to charge it. There's a little plug underneath. You just plug the charger that it comes with and it charges your unit up for you in about 4 to 6 hours, depending on how low the battery is. Besides that, the unit can go up to 20 miles per hour, and I have tested this and it is correct. It will go up to 20. However, it has 3 different modes. Mode number 1, which is your eco mode, that'll go up to 6 miles an hour. Perfect for environments where you don't need to go that fast or you don't want to go that fast. As a matter of fact, sometimes I ride this inside of the mall. Here in San Diego, the malls are all outdoors. And when I'm riding inside of it, I put it into eco mode. I would say a little bit faster than a walking pace, but it gets me from point A to point B really quickly. And the middle tier takes you to 10 miles an hour. And then finally, the sport mode takes you all the way up to 20 miles an hour.
A few moments later.
As far as the riding characteristics, it has 10-inch pneumatic tires, so it makes the riding really, really plush. I haven't really felt that many bumps when I'm riding it, so overall the quality is pretty good. Even if we off-road it like I am right now. Obviously, it's not smooth like having a suspension, but it's not bone jarring either. So in that sense, it's pretty comfortable to ride. It's unrealistic to go on grass for long periods of time, but if you were to do it like I am right now and go off-road once in a while, it's really not a big deal, and it pretty much handles it with ease. Speaking of off-roading, here's another off-roading section. And one thing I like about this TurboAnt Max 7 is that the clearance on the bottom is really, really high. So you can jump it on surfaces like that and it won't have any issues. That's one of the things I really like about this unit. There's a little thumb wheel, and so if you push it down, you will start to accelerate. On top of the unit, there are 2 buttons. The first button turns it on, and then the second button goes through the different speeds. So obviously, like I mentioned before, you got 3 different speeds. The first speed is 6 miles an hour, then 10, and then 20 miles per hour. And I'm not sure if you heard that, but if you hold down the accelerator, it will make a beeping sound indicating that you have entered cruise control mode. And that's one feature that I use quite a lot, actually. One thing I do have to point out, and I don't like about the system, is that you have to have the light on in order for the rear light to be turned on permanently. So if you're riding at night, obviously you're gonna have the lights on. But if you're not riding at night and you're casually riding during the day, for safety reasons, it's always good to have the red light in the back turned on. But unfortunately, it only works when you have the light turned on in the front. Getting off the line, it's not super fast. Hopefully you can see, but I barely reached 20 miles an hour, so I'm doing about 18 right now, and I got a full charge. Right now I'm doing 19 miles an hour, and finally I reached 20 miles an hour. So as far as acceleration is concerned, it's not the fastest accelerating e-bike out there, or scooter out there, but I'm not really riding this for competition use. It's mostly from getting from point A to point B. In that sense, it's very convenient to use. That being said, TurboAnt has equipped this with a 350 watt motor. Couple that with the 10 amp hour battery, and you get a claimed range of 32 miles. TurboAnt says in order for you to reach 32 miles, you need to have optimal tire pressure, and you need to ride it at the middle tier, which is 9-point-something miles per hour. And as you know, most people are not going to be doing that. And here we are at the gym. I've equipped my TurboAnt with a lock, and I usually put it right in the front. So when I'm parking at the gym, I usually lock it up. I put the lock in between the wheel and the frame, and she's locked until I come back. Thank you.
2 hours later.
There we go. We just turned it on, and hopefully you can see the light, but I'm going to turn it on right now. There goes the light. So at night, it works pretty well. During the day, I just leave it on as extra protection because you never know. And plus, without it, this rear light won't turn on. So right now, as I can demonstrate for you, this is without the light. So if you use your brakes, it will turn on. But if you're not using your brakes, it's off. So as an extra layer of protection, I usually leave the light on. All right, let's go. Jumping curves, not an issue. Most other scooters usually have the batteries on the bottom. It makes it really difficult to impossible to jump curve. So with the TurboAnt, it makes it really easy, and I like that a lot. As far as range is concerned, that's where we last left off. The range is up to 32 miles, but it is not when you're doing 20 miles per hour. Realistically, when you're doing 20 miles per hour, the range will last you anywhere between 12 to 15 miles, depending on if you have hills or not. For me, it lasts anywhere between 14 to 15 miles. I've ridden this thing probably for the last couple of weeks. It's my go-to vehicle for in and around the neighborhood. So for me, it's good up to 15 miles. I don't usually use it to go anywhere else besides first and last mile trips. And there was one time I rode this thing in torrential rain. It was raining so hard that I couldn't see where I was going. But as far as traction is concerned, I wasn't riding it that fast. I believe I had it in the eco mode, or I believe it was like the middle tier. And I didn't lose traction at all. So it has pretty grippy tires. The 10-inch pneumatic tires does the job pretty well. As far as stopping power, most units come with regenerative braking. Hopefully I said that correctly. But this unit does not. However, whenever you are using the brakes, it does have disc brakes in the rear, and it does have the power brakes in the front, which the motor utilizes to slow you down, which I would call engine braking or motor braking. So it does have dual brakes, one in the front, one in the rear. But I do wish that it had regen braking. That would make things a lot better, like most other units, since it would send power back to the battery at the same time every single time you brake. Overall, I think this is a neat little scooter, regardless if it doesn't do 32 miles of range as it's advertised. Besides that, I've had a couple of track day events, which I brought this to. You know, sometimes when you're riding a motorcycle on a racetrack, there's a lot of errands to make, going for rider meetings and preparing lunch and using the restroom. So this makes for an absolutely perfect pit bike. And I've been using it several times for that purpose alone, and it's made it really, really convenient for me. And when you're going around the neighborhood, it really doesn't make sense to use your car if you don't have to. These days, gasoline is really expensive, and so it doesn't make sense to ride anything other than this. And so now, the last thing I want to demonstrate for you is the ability to fold this unit, which is really simple. So there's a little piece of metal here. All you have to do is push up, and then this comes down. And now, your TurboAnt can easily be folded in half. And now this makes it really easy to transport. One thing I don't like about it is that this mechanism here does not lock. So if you're picking it up and it moves side to side, it comes apart really easily. As you can see, I wish that this had like some kind of a locking mechanism, but it doesn't. To close it back up, it's really simple as well. Put your foot here and push up, and then now it locks into place, and then push this all the way to the end, and now it locks in. Now, while we're at it, let me give you guys some other criticisms I have about this unit. As far as the cruise control is concerned, I wish that I didn't have to hold it down so long, and I wish the beep was louder than it was. While I'm riding in the street, I have no idea sometimes that it goes into cruise control unless I look at the screen below. And the screen below is really not that bright when it's really sunny, like in a day like this. If I was TurboAnt, I would make the sound of the cruise control higher, and I would make the duration less. So I would make it a duration of about 5 seconds and a louder cruise control sound. Besides that, the other criticism I have about this is that it does not have regen braking. So if it had regen braking, this way it would send power back to the battery, because this is a 350 watt motor. It's better that it goes back into the battery while you're braking, and there's plenty of braking while you're riding it in situations where I was. And my last criticism would probably be this light. Although the light is great, it only runs on a single watt. At least a light that would produce 2 to 5 watts would be better in a system like this. But as far as the rest of the unit is concerned, I think it's a fantastic unit. Like I said, it gets me from point A to point B wherever I need to get to, and it seems to be pretty durable at this point, and I haven't had any issues with it. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. But until the next one, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.